Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. So good evening. Today is November 22nd, and it's almost time for Thanksgiving. So this episode, I want to talk about Thanksgiving. Someone actually, two different people suggested that I talk about it for this week's episode. So definitely gonna touch on that. Like they wanted to know what my plans were for Thanksgiving, and so I'll definitely talk about that, and some other housekeeping things that I want to talk about. And so yeah, so this Thursday is Thanksgiving. Actually just came from the store today. I went to the grocery store to get some stuff because I'm gonna be cooking at home this year for myself. So usually I do cook something for myself at home, but I usually go see my parents. And really pre-COVID, I was bouncing from house to house, really. I feel like a lot of people do that. We just get as many plates as you can, and see as many people as you can. But this year, obviously due to COVID, that won't be happening for me to bounce from house to house. But unfortunately, I won't be going to any house because I was exposed to COVID last Saturday. Last Saturday. Sorry, the days have been pretty much combined now. So yeah, I'll definitely talk on that and how that affected me and now my Thanksgiving. So this will, it's not trying to be no negative episode. It's just reality. So before I get into that, I definitely want to start off with a message, like I always do, from this book. Today is November 22nd, so the message for this day is don't overcommit yourself. And just another housekeeping thing. This is going to be a long episode. I'm just going to be talking about different stuff. Usually I feel like I wrap it up pretty quick, but this time I got a lot of stuff to say. So bear with me on that. So the message, don't overcommit yourself. If you tend to be a people pleaser, you may feel exhausted because you have a difficult time saying no. You end up overcommitting to holiday office parties, family dinners, or other events. So you begin to feel the malaise of being overscheduled. But paradoxically, the holiday season is an excellent opportunity to reel in your codependent tendencies so you don't burn yourself out trying to make everyone happy at the expense of your own energy. Scrutinize your schedule so that you don't plan too many events. Also, as a compromise, make short appearances at gatherings rather than staying for hours. If you feel guilty about saying no or haven't come to terms with the reality that sometimes you will disappoint others, take more time to contemplate this truth and see if you can feel it more deeply. It is not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs. During the holiday season and afterward, give yourself permission not to overcommit yourself. So the intention I will practice self-care by not overcommitting myself to social events. I will relax more as the year winds down and leave more unstructured time for self-reflection and rejuvenation. So that's definitely a message for people with this holiday coming up. Don't overdo it. It's one day, and like I said, usually I know I bounce from house to house, so I will get exhausted, after a while of doing that all day, just basically eating all day. But that's not something that a lot of people can do this year because of COVID. So just making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So one of the things that one line that stood out to me is, "It is not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs." So I kind of want to definitely go off of that line as to what I want to talk about as far as Thanksgiving for myself and how that will be, and just some recent experience that I had with the whole COVID thing, right? So we all know COVID, it's been out since what, like March or whatever, or at least it's been talked about. We had the whole lockdown situation starting in March, and we all had to be wearing masks, and you're supposed to social distance, and you're supposed to basically stay home, unless you have to go somewhere. And then it kind of got a little bit better in the summer. People were still going out and just still practicing social distance, but we were still trying to have some form of normalcy, right? And then now it's like the fall time, and we're still continuing on with that. So with that being said, like, obviously safety is number one, so making sure that you're being safe and taking care of yourself. And if you feel like you have symptoms, then you should stay home, right? And you should not be around other people and put other people in danger. With that being said, and I'm like I said, I'm gonna keep it real, but I'm not trying to be like coming for anybody or anything. But basically, I think I touched on it a little bit in the last episode about how I went to. So my brother, one of my brothers, he's engaged, right? He's engaged to get married. So my sister-in-law, she has some siblings, and obviously my brother has myself, and my other brother has siblings. So anyway, we all usually get together and hang out, So we've been doing that for a while now, and so we did something over the summer. We did something. The last thing was. We did something for Halloween, and we just recently tried to do a Friendsgiving / birthday party for somebody. So that is where, we pretty much were exposed to COVID. And it was definitely like, to get that news, like, all right, so we had the party on Saturday, and like, I feel like we all definitely learned a valuable lesson that, you got to be safe no matter what, no matter who you're around, like even if it's family. And, that not everyone maybe knows exactly the laws or the rules of COVID and how that really affects people, So we had, like I said, we found out that Sunday morning that we basically were exposed to it by someone who tested positive. And so, we all started freaking out, because it's like, nobody wants to have COVID, and nobody, it just makes you like, yo, like, it was very frantic, because you have like a mix of emotions. You're scared, you're angry, you're anxious, you're like panicking, because it's like, I gotta get tested, I gotta make sure I'm not sick. You have to be careful about who you're around now, and like, a lot of us were concerned about work, because that's like a main thing. You got to get your money, right? So if you are exposed to that and now you can't work, that's money out your pocket, and nobody has time for that, especially in this time. So that Sunday pretty much was like a roller coaster ride, because people were freaking out. They were definitely angry, and I ended up going to get tested. Myself and one other attendee went to get tested. I'm not going to use anybody's names, No, I'm not going to throw out no governments, But anyway, myself and one other person were able to go get tested. So that Sunday. So that test came back negative for me. But then I started to, like, throughout the week, I started to have some symptoms, but like, I think it was more so like allergies for me. But my brother actually had some symptoms as well. So, but he's fine. So everybody, everybody's negative, as far as I know. Everyone came back negative, right? So that's something that we pretty much have finalized by today, I believe. That's when, yeah, pretty much everyone's been finalized to be negative. So that's the good thing, right? But that Sunday, I'm not gonna lie, it was a shit show. It was a shit show because it was just like, when I'm not gonna lie, when I got that text message, I was like, wait, what? What you mean you was exposed? Like, what? Wait, what? Like, what you mean? Like, positive on what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that threw me off because it was like, whoa, like, I had no idea. Like, that, I think that's the part that threw everyone off. It was just like, we literally went in there, like, that's like somebody inviting you into a room where the COVID is, right? And it's like if you know how in the cartoons, like when you put on the goggles and then you see like the difference or whatever, like it's like almost like, okay, if we went into that room or into the place where we were and it was like the COVID was just like swimming around in the air, you know what I'm saying? But like you could only see the COVID if you had on the goggles, but all of us went in there blindly, basically, and we was just breathing in the COVID, like, so, and it was just like, it was all fun, and it was definitely a good time. I'm not gonna take it away from it, because it was a great time. We always have a good time. It went from a good time to a really scary, messed up situation, because it was like, yo, this could go really bad, like, people have, conditions. People basically were forced to like change their living arrangements, because if you're living with someone who's older, you can't expose them. So it was just like a really crazy situation, but I feel that we all did our best to like adjust. And I know that's something that I talk about, like how COVID has made us adjust, right? So we all did our best to adjust, but it was just like, it was a lot of mixed emotions, right? And so we had a discussion as a group on Zoom, because you couldn't, obviously we weren't about to go back to face with everybody, right? And we had a discussion, and the discussion, it was like pretty much everyone just getting what they had to say off their chest. And I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? And I felt that it was done in a tasteful manner, and but everyone wasn't in agreement with that, so that turned it into a shit show, because then it was just like, it was just bad. Like, it was like, then it became like a reprimanding type of conversation that happened, and it was just like, yo, like, it was just bad. I don't know. The best way to describe it was just bad, and I think that what it definitely, the situation highlighted is that line I'm talking about. It's not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs, right? Because if someone has something to say that they feel, everyone's entitled to feel what they want to feel, right? You can't tell me not to be upset because I was exposed to something that could kill me, like, that's just not, no, you're not gonna do that, And again, this is not to be like, trying to be like that. I'm just keeping it real. Like, it is what it is, right? You have to, I think a part of the lesson there was just like knowing how to, and it's one of the episodes that I had, accountability, right? It's all about accountability, because at the end of the day, we all have to be accountable for our actions. All of us, everyone who attended, the person who exposed, everyone, like, we all have to be accountable, because we all played a role in that, in the sense of we were in that dinner with no mask on. We were kikiing it up, breathing in the COVID, and hugging up on the whatever. So even though we didn't know, we knew that we should have probably done more precautions, right? But it's just like, it's like a lose-lose situation, like, we tried to do what we thought was the right thing, everyone tried to do what they thought was the right thing, but it ended up not really being a good thing, and obviously, luckily, that nobody is really hurt or anything like that, or really sick, but At the end of the day, we all learned a couple of valuable lessons, right? So when I say it's not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs, for me that stands out because it's like everyone, what I was saying is everyone was entitled to feel what they felt. So when someone was angry and they expressed that, or they felt like, more so everything, I think it was the feeling of being blindsided, because it was like, damn, like what? Like, it was just like, that's what I just kept saying, what? Like the, what's that, man? What's that? The meme that you keep seeing, or the whatever, the gif or whatever, when the dude, he's a basketball player. What's his name? I don't know what his name, but you know what I'm talking about, when he keeps saying, he's in the interview and he just says, what? Like, that's what I just kept feeling like what? Like, hold on. We were exposed to what? How? Like, what? We was just what? Like, I don't know. I just kept saying that because there's really nothing else I could say, because it was just like, yo, you gotta be kidding me, right? Like, we're not about to do this. Definitely not the week before Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, that's a special holiday, you know? Like, I could, we're supposed to be with our families and stuff, and now it's like, the reality is like, when it comes to me, I'm not gonna be able to go around my parents and go to my parents' house. I'm gonna have to have Thanksgiving alone, basically. So, which sucks, because I like to go over there, like to spend time with them, catch up with them, see the dogs and stuff like that, and now we can't do that. So, and you might ask, like, why can't you do it if you you tested negative? So I tested negative twice. My brother tested negative. He took one test. Most of everyone who attended took like one test, so they all tested negative. I did twice just because I did my first test like literally the day after, so I wanted to be double sure. And so, I told my mom that. I told my mom that we tested negative, but she wasn't having it. She sent out that text like, we love you, but you ain't coming over here. Like, she sent that to me and my brother. So, yeah, that's the tea on that. We're not going over there. We can't go over there. And I respect it, because I would hate to have exposed my parents to that, because they just can't. They're getting older, and they have a lot of things that they have to do on their own that would really just mess up their whole flow. So it's definitely respected. But it was just funny, like, my mom sending that text, like, we love you, but you can't bring that over here. I don't care what kind of negative test you got. You stay your negative behind where you at. That's basically what she was saying. Because it was funny, because she was sending my brother and I, like, she sent the text like, you guys, we love you, but we don't want to get exposed. It's whatever. Even if you got a negative, like, don't come over here with that. But it was like, oh, but here's some links to like some free Thanksgiving meals that are being given out, which was sweet, because I get it, but no, I'm still gonna like get my food and like cook for myself. But it was just funny that my mom sent that. So yeah, like, it's not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs. So that is sticking out to me, because it's just like situations like that. I love situations like that, even though, yeah, it could have been potentially dangerous, but I'm a firm believer. I love when people show me who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, because not only did that situation happen, but it was just like some other things kind of came to surface where it was like, oh, okay, like, that's how you feel? Like, so it was just like, I don't know, it's crazy, because it's like, I'm the type of person, like, at the end of the day, I don't have no hard issues. I don't have no hard feelings for anybody. I don't have any issues necessarily. I'm not about to hold on to nothing. Like I said, I went into that. I have to take responsibility and accountability for the role that I play too. I chose to go there. I chose to go with no mask, and I chose to kiki it up and hug it up, and you know what I mean? Like, I chose to basically relax. And I'll tell you one thing, I've been really good. Like, I don't go out like that. Like, I go around the same people if I'm going out, or if someone's coming to my house, it's the same people. So that's why I'm like, that was the first time I ever got tested, because I was like, I don't need to. I haven't had any symptoms. I don't go out like that. So it was definitely an eye-opener for me to, like, I'm glad I got tested anyway, because who knows, I could have been, because it was you could be asymptomatic, right? So it was definitely an eye-opener for that, and I was scared. I was anxious about taking the test because I had been hearing so many bad things. I think that's what, for me, like when I heard, the test is different now. It's definitely easy, but when I heard about them like shoving something up your nose, I was like, oh hell no, y'all ain't about to do that to me. Like I don't play them type of games. So that's why I was like damn near walking around with a hazmat suit, because I was like, no, I'm not about to have nothing shoved up my nose. Thank you very much, So but that's why that's why I freaked out. I was like, oh hell, like I'm not about to have that test, you know what I mean? But I had to do it, right, to make sure I don't croak. So anyway, to touch on like that whole satisfying other people's needs, like I said, everybody has their ways of expressing their feelings, and there's a way to go about stuff, and like you just gotta be conscious of how you deal with people, like you have to, no matter how much someone can irritate you and piss you off, and just like, because it's like, I feel like a lot of the times we as people, like we had, and I know for me, I do that, like if someone does me dirty or does something where I'm like, yo, what, like that's how you're gonna do me? Like for me, it's just like you take it personal because you're like, damn, I would never do you like that, but it's like that's when it's kind of like situations like that where you have to be like, it doesn't matter how you would do them, like nobody's ever gonna think how you think, right? And everyone is raised differently, everybody has different morals, everyone has different like ways that they handle things. So in situations like that, you can never think that, oh, that person will never do me like that, because that's like, again, everybody's different, everybody has different experiences and the way that they handle things. So and everybody isn't taught to be accountable, and it's like one of the participants definitely made a point, because she was like, it's a teaching moment for people, because it's like you have to learn that even when you mess up, and no one wants to mess up, but when you take accountability, that's when it's like, no matter what the situation, usually it can be forgiven. But when you're not accountable and you like, or you making excuses for people's actions, that's when it's just like, oh, we ain't about to do all that. No. We don't play them type of games, and that's where it's just like, you have to be careful, because accountability is a part of growth and a part of being an adult. No matter what, if you do something wrong, you take accountability for it, you apologize, and then guess what? If the person doesn't want to accept the apology, whatever, but at least you can walk away saying, nah, like I knew what I did, I took responsibility for it, and I'll give that person the time to really adjust and like decide what they want to do, right? But when someone does you, a lot of the people, their frustration came from like, damn, like we're in this situation and we can't even get no accountability for it, and then you kind of getting blamed for it. That was the part that was the icing on the cake. Like getting blamed for the shit, like you got blamed for showing up. But again, it's not to be like shady like that. It's just like, I'm keeping it real, right? I'm telling the story. And I have to laugh, because it's like stuff like that blows my mind, because it's just like, yo, what? Like, I mean, maybe I'm being extreme here, but like, that's like getting stabbed and then someone saying like, well, all right, well, you shouldn't have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew what was up when you came there. You knew there was a possibility that you could have got stabbed. Like, yeah, no shit. But it's still, if I had known that, like, if I had given a heads up that people was walking around with knives, maybe I would have showed up protected. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, and maybe that's an extreme comparison, but my point is like you gotta always be prepared, right? You gotta always come prepared, but like, you should be able to still relax and have that trusting relationship with people too, that you think you can trust, and so, and it's not, I like the line, like I said, it's not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs. With that being said, like, I commend everyone in how they handle the situation, the ones who were affected, because we said what we had to say, and we pretty much came to some form of a understanding at one point, and it was all coastal, and then it was kind of like dug back up, and kind of, it was like it was like we buried the situation, but then like it was basically the situation was buried, but then somebody unburied the situation and started throwing the dirt back on us. Like, and so that was the part that was like, what? Like, I'm gonna keep saying that too. Like, that's when it was just like, no. Now we messing up. Now we reverting back to what we not gonna do, you know? So, and again, like I said, I personally have no hard feelings. I know that everyone, it has different feelings about the situation moving forward. Like some people are not able to move forward. You know, they voice that they're like, this ain't something I can move forward from. Other people are just like, nah, I'm good on this whole situation. Like, I'm good on. We have to adjust. Basically, we have to adjust how we do things moving forward, and that's definitely understandable. With that being said, it's like, again, you have to be careful of how you interact with people and how you can't shut down someone else's emotion just because you don't agree with it. Not saying you don't allow anybody to disrespect you, right? But if someone feels a certain way, you can't tell them, oh no, you don't have the right to feel that way. No. Like, you can feel whatever you want to feel. Like, you can say what you want to say, and then you go from there. But you can't shut down. That's when the becomes a problem. Like, you can't tell someone how they should feel, you know? So at the end of the day, there was a lot of lessons learned. Like I said, it was like, you know, we can laugh and joke about it, but it was some serious stuff, you know? Like, you know, I have asthma. That could have really went really bad, you know? Like, if I was positive or like something happened, and like, I live alone, so I have to be able to make sure that someone's gonna look out for me, make sure I ain't like passed out, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I have my inhaler finally, but like, even that, it's just like, that can't save me, you know? And I'm not trying to be in no hospital with them nasty, no. Let me not say nasty people, but I'm not trying to be in the hospital. Like, I'm trying to avoid any type of issues, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm going above and beyond to make sure that I am being careful of what I'm doing and who I'm around and how my practices are. And it's just like, everybody, like, not just the people that attend it. It should be like that for everybody. Like, you should be expecting that everybody's practicing good, clean behavior, right? Because nobody wants to get COVID, nobody wants to get sick. Definitely not before Thanksgiving. You want to be able to spend time with your family. And so I just want to highlight that. Make sure, like, even if you do choose to go to things, like, it's better to be safe than sorry, you know, because that could have all went really bad, you know. And I'm just glad that nobody, like, I didn't go see my parents that next morning like I usually do, because that would have been really bad if I got that news while at my parents' house. Like, yeah, I don't even want to think about it. You know, like, I don't even want to think about the reaction that I would have got from there. I probably would have been banned from their house, low-key. Like, to be honest, it's bad enough I can't even go there for Thanksgiving, so like, I'm not trying to get banned for life. So it's just like, you know, me being careful, like, you know better. You should have been wearing your mask, you know. You should have been even more cautious. But it's just like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna hold back on how I feel. I'm gonna be respectful, and I'm not gonna allow anybody to be treated badly. But at the same time, like, I very much have that mindset of, it is what it is, right? And what you give is what you get. And when you give, like, okay, I don't even really be swearing like that on this episode, but on this podcast. But I just thought about something. There was what was that show, Love and Hip Hop or something like that? But I always remember this quote that the girl said. She was just like, Pete, you give what you get, right? If you give me bitch, you're gonna get bitch. Like, so if you're giving me attitude, you're gonna get that back. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just the way that you choose to handle situations. Nobody wants to be the bad guy, but it's just like, do you take it when you are the quote unquote bad guy, or when you're the one who did something wrong? Are you an apologetic person, or are you like, oh well, it is what it is, and like, you know, are you a victim, or do you turn around and play victim, or do you victim blame? Like that, I don't like that. Don't victim blame, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not right. And then that's what I'm saying. It's like about being accountable. So that's definitely something that I hope that, people that were in that situation can learn, that we got to be accountable for our actions. It's just, it is what it is. So in conclusion, like, that's what I'll be doing this Thanksgiving. Like, I'll be at home. Like, uh, unfortunately, like usually I said, I get to see my parents. I go see my grandmother. I can't see my grandmother. Today's her birthday. I did get to call her and like say happy birthday and talk to her. She's like 70, I don't know, 73 or something. Is she 73? Something like that. She's 70 something. But yeah, that's just, that's the reality of what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be doing anything, basically. I'm going to be, I'll be thankful. I'm thankful that I have a home. I have a kitchen. I have the ability to cook, and I'm not going to be in a hospital bed, but it's scary. It's scary how things could have went. And it's just like, it's just a lesson for us all to like, look out for each other. I think that's what it is. Like, we have to look out for each other. Like, that's the bottom line. Like, we should all be practicing. We should all be looking out for each other, making sure everybody's good, not putting nobody in danger, and just really trying to maintain, like, that's what we're doing. Like, that's what 2020 is about right now. We're trying to maintain. I'm trying to make it a 2021, even though I don't feel like that's going to be any better, but still, optimism, whatever. But, I just feel like we learned a valuable lesson. And like I said, I love situations like that, because when I see somebody's character and who they are for what, when I see you for what you are, I'm like, all right, bet. Thank you for that, because now I know how to move, and that's what I also learned, is like, I know how to move. Like, I'm never gonna do anybody bad just because of the way that they choose to do. Like, if you wanna walk around like Moni Myrtle and like you wanna walk around like Eeyore with the cloud over your head, or you wanna be like all pent up and with an attitude, like, you got that. Good luck with that. Like, you're not gonna put that on me. Like, I'm not gonna absorb that. I'm gonna just make sure I'm going to act accordingly. Like, I like that. I love that term too. Act accordingly. If somebody want to act like that, all right, bet. So you can stay from around me, because I don't have time for that. And if you don't know how to say sorry, or you don't know how to just like, just not try to take everything so personal. Like, you can't do that in this world. Like, that's something I've learned too throughout my journey, is like, you cannot be the type of person to take everything personal. You got to learn how to shake it off. You got to learn how to be like I said, my response usually is like, all right, bet. Anyways, like, I got stuff to do. Like, I ain't got time for this. I don't have time for this. All right, bet. It is what it is. Like, I don't care. Those are like terms that I use and I mean it, because I'm not going to let anybody slow me down. Like, I got things to do. And so if you're not aligning with me, like, spiritually, and like your energy is like trashy, or your energy is negative, like, I don't need that. I that's going to hold me back, and I'm not letting anybody hold me back. So it's like, get with it or get left. Like, that's really what it is. Like, and you can't. People like that is gonna be like, so like, gonna be in the stagnation. You get stagnant because you're so busy trying to be on defense, and it's just like, yo, let it go. Like, like, it is what it is, and things happen. Nobody got hurt, and we all learned a lesson, and we just move on. But if everybody can't have that same energy, then yeah, it's gonna be like, all right, well then forget it. Like, that, again, that's another thing. I'm quick to say, all right, whatever, next. Like, I'm not about to sit here and argue with you. I'm not doing that. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not about to go back and forth and exchange negative. You can keep that and do what you do with that, So, yeah. So basically, in conclusion, I won't have a Thanksgiving with my family. It's not funny, but it ain't funny, but it is. Because it's just like, dang, like, I really do like to be able to go over there. I like to go to my other family's house, like I said, my brother's fiance's family's house, and like go see them, because their family is really cool. And yeah, I won't be able to do that. So definitely a lesson, and I'm gonna take that time to like just learn, I'm a cook for myself anyways, regardless, but it's just like a time for self-reflection too. So yeah, that's the tea. So in conclusion, like I said, I want to say is just like, remember that line. It's not your job to constantly satisfy other people's needs. So when you have situations like that, you say your piece, you stay true to you. That's what I want people to do, is like, no matter what, when you're faced with conflict like that, and someone's doing that, it's like, you got to be like, all right, like I said, all right, bet, I got you. We see each other, and then you know what, I step aside and I keep going on my path. I'm not about to sit here and play with you. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. And be very careful of how you exchange your energy and what you give your energy to. 2020 is teaching you that. It's just like, we don't have no time to play. We don't have no time to play. We don't have time to play with our lives and nothing. And you just have to literally live life day by day and appreciate everything you have. And so, even like for me, like being back in that quarantine situation, I was like, dang, I miss breathing outside. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, now that I am about to get close to the end of the quarantine, I'm definitely going to take more advantage of the time to be able to go out, you know what I mean? And like enjoy the weather and stuff, because being even that little bit of time and being back in the house, I was starting to get anxious again. Like, oh hell, like I hated that. I hated when we were in quarantine and I literally couldn't go anywhere. Like, it was starting to mess with my head. Like, yo, I don't like being restricted. So it's just like, you start going COVID crazy. Like, you're like, oh God, I gotta get out of this house. You know what I'm saying? And like it was like a lot of those days, the sun was out and it was just like looking out the window like, dang, look at y'all enjoying the air. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like, at the same time, I have to be safe. You have to make sure that you're being safe for yourself and others around you. And I hope that, this story, I'm sure there was some laughs or whatever with it that I was talking about, but it was like, really, I want to say is like, be careful. Be careful who you're around. Be careful how you interact with people. Be careful. Just still like be on high COVID alert, because it could happen to anything. Anybody. It can happen to anybody. Because I really never thought that I would ever be in that type of situation. I never planned on getting a COVID test, because I was like, I don't even go around people like that. I don't let people in my house like that. And it was an eye opener. So it was eye-opener for self-care, because I should have been taking care of myself we all should have been practicing self-care better that day. We all should have still been on alert. And so, you just don't get comfortable. I know with the holiday season coming up, like, it's easy to get comfortable around family, but you should still be cautious. Make sure you're wearing your mask and like not having a lot of people where you are, and washing your hands and just being safe, So yeah, that was a lot. That was a long episode, but it was needed. Right? I wanted to get that story out there. I wanted to get that information out there. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. If you get to go with your family, enjoy that. However you can celebrate it, I hope that everybody gets to do that and take care of themselves. And just, for me, again, it's something that I live by, but don't hold grudges and let it go. Just let it go. Life is too short. And if people want to act like that, if people want to act stank, and people want to act like you a problem, then you take it for what it is. Like, oh, for real? Like, I'm the issue? Like, okay, cool. All right. Get that dirt off your shoulder. Like, brush it off. Like, all right, bet. Good luck with that. Because that's how I'm going to be. That's how I am. Good luck with that. I'm not about to sit here and you want to be like that, then that's on you. I hope that gets you far in life. It won't, but I hope it gets you far in life, because you cannot be like that. That you need to always grow. There's always opportunity to grow, and I feel like that situation, most of us grew from that, most of us took that situation, and yeah, we were mad and we were sad and we were scared and whatever, but at the end of the day, we all took it as all right, dang, next time we got to do better, so that's really what it is. We can all do better, and I want everyone to do that, is to do better. So it's about to be the end for this episode. It's about to cut me off. So what I want to say is that I love you guys. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. appreciate everything that you got, your family, and just appreciate yourself and take care of yourself. Self-care, self-care. So as usual, I'm your host, Chanel. This is Black Hippie Lounge. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Take care of you, take care of those around you, but most importantly, take care of you. I hope that this story was funny to you guys, and that, you took some good pointers from it, and that, at the end of the day, it's all love, it's all love. I don't have no problems. I don't have no beef with nobody. So, yeah, take care.